Well, here we are in Gold River, California, and we're here to visit with Dale Runquist, a fellow that served in the 2nd Platoon, 2nd 27th Wolfhounds in 1969. And although in my interviews I have interviewed a lot of guys that I was there with, Dale actually was my replacement. He came in just as I think we crossed.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
In Coochie, probably.
Probably, yeah.
And so we're here to ask Dale to participate in the oral history that we're putting together for the platoon. And Dale, I can't thank you enough. And
my pleasure.
And I will say this: although we did not serve together, every reunion, every time when I was starting this, everybody goes, "Did you find Dale Runquist?" Now, I'm not sure why, but I hope I find out. But you must have been a pretty popular guy or something.
I don't know.
Because a lot of guys have wanted to know.
I know a lot of guys in the reunion, the people that attend, I served with. And
yes. I mean, and they're always...
Dave Dunnick,
what's
Manarelli.
Going on with... Yeah. And I say, I promise you guys, I'm trying. I'm trying. And of course, I understand, you have a business and it's busy, and I understand that.
We all are, but
everybody's still pulling that you'll come to next year's reunion in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So
I'll give it a shot.
We'll continue to encourage you to do that, because these guys they're going, gosh, we'd love to see him again.
Yeah.
So to start out, I'm just going to ask you, where were you born and raised?
Born and raised in a little town east of Mobile, Alabama.
Oh.
It was called Silver Hill. It's a little town about, I always heard that it was 250 people lived there, but it was probably a little bit more.
Just a small.
Yeah. Yeah, and I lived there until I was 11 years old. Then I came out here with my parents to California, and this is home now.
And Gold River or Sacramento or just?
We lived in Sacramento in the beginning, and then moved to Rancho Cordova, which is
oh yes,
same mail zone,
okay,
zip code as Gold River. It just separated by.
Okay. And your date of birth?
12/18/44.
Okay. And did you volunteer, or did you get drafted?
Uncle Sam volunteered me.
Okay. And what were you doing? Were you like out of high school, or did you go to college?
I was in college. I was also working at a grocery store.
Okay.
But I was in college. I had received a student deferment.
Of course.
Up until that point, and then they told me that I had exhausted that supply. So.
My story is almost identical to yours. I mean, almost identical.
Right.
Except when I was in college, I had my deferment. I thought it was more important to make money and chase girls. And so, so I quit college for 1 quarter, not knowing. And I got my letter, and what a dumb mistake that was. So, but it was too late. You couldn't go back.
Right.
And so I got drafted just like you did. And how old were you when you got drafted?
Must have been 22.
Okay.
23.
And so, like you, I was working at Safeway.
Maybe.
Okay. I mean, and then kind of the same story. And then I get my letter and I go, ooh, what did I do? Where did you go to basic?
Screwed up. Fort Lewis, Washington.
Oh, okay. And AIT?
Fort Lewis,
you
Washington.
Stayed there. A lot of guys, went through Fort Lewis.
Went right from the cold weather right to the desert.
Yes.
Vietnam, so.
Yep. And what memories do you have of basic and AIT? Just what comes to you as far as your reaction to all of a sudden you're a civilian and now you're at Fort Lewis?
Quite an experience. I didn't realize the importance of it until probably my 3rd or 4th week into basic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't realize, when I got into AIT, I realized that this was getting serious.
Yeah.
And I was in, of course, I always thought, probably like you and probably like everybody else, I always thought, okay, I'm in basic training. I won't be, I've got too much schooling. I'll probably go to some other kind of
A
training.
school,
rather,
yeah,
rather than infantry.
to be a radio operator or
Right,
something.
yeah. So then I was assigned to infantry, and I says, okay, if I'm in infantry, I'll probably, same thing. I'll probably go to Korea or Japan or something
Germany.
like that. Germany, yeah, Germany would be a great place. They won't send me to Vietnam. Got orders for Vietnam, and then I figured, okay, well, go to Vietnam. I'll probably be offline someplace, get a job doing something clerical or something like that. Got to Vietnam and went right to the front lines. Well, of course, we didn't have any front lines, but I went right out to the base camp.
Now, were
Fire
you at Jackson Fire Support Base when you walked into the unit?
No, I think we were in a
Shamrock? I know you were. I know you
Shamrock.
were at Shamrock.
makes that because it was smaller than Jackson. I
Of
think
course,
I
it
passed
was
through
a
Jackson.
hard spot.
Yeah, right out in the middle of rice paddies.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I was Coochie, of course. First week there, I was filling sandbags, and I got such a sunburn. I still got scars on my shoulders from
oh my gosh.
from where the blisters were. But then we went up to Jackson, then we went to, and I'm sure it was Shamrock.
Yep.
If I look through my records, I'm sure I'll see that.
Shamrock, I was there like for 2 weeks, and you came and I went.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Is that what it was?
I mean, literally, you were my replacement. Yeah.
I kept hearing that when I came walking in. Hey, you're my replacement, but I couldn't be that many people's replacement.
Yeah.
But that's.
And so, what do you remember when you first came into the company? You got into Vietnam, you went to the bleachers, they told you were going to be in the 2nd and the 27th. You got on a truck, went to Cu Chi.
Right.
Somebody came out of a Quonset hut and said, "Welcome to Vietnam."
Yeah, right. I guess I can't remember that.
Do you
part.
remember anything about did anybody tell you anything about the Wolfhounds?
I heard stories when I think I was in Cu Chi.
Yes.
And I heard about the things that my predecessors had done.
The
And,
diamonds? Diamond 1, Diamond 2, Diamond 3?
Yeah, some hard hot landings. Yeah, but
And so you're getting a little more apprehensive, I'm assuming.
yeah, I'm getting kind of scared.
Yeah. And so you
Apprehensive's
went
a
out
good
to
word.
Shamrock. Who do you remember meeting right off the bat?
Dale Catherall.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah,
And he was sergeant, of course.
he was sergeant. Yeah.
So were you put in his squad?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So now at least you got an anchor. And who else was in the squad with you?
I think Dave Dunnick was there.
Mhm.
I think Pancho Garcia was there.
Manarelli, Kush?
was there. Cush was there. Oh man, I'd have to look at the list.
But yeah, I mean that
Yeah.
was who
That was the
that
core.
was the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. John Cook, I think, was there.
I can't remember who was on the
He
gun.
was a machine gunner, and right
Could have been
after,
John Cook.
I think he left right after you got there, and he went offline and went.
Yeah,
and
Manarelli humped the
oh yes.
the
Yeah,
rounds.
and Cush was his assistant gunner.
Yeah.
And so anyway, John Cook went to Cu Chi and started working on helicopters.
Yeah, good for him.
He got off, he got offline. So, okay, so those were the guys that you met, and you were operating out of Shamrock. That's a fact. I know that.
Okay.
What job did they give you to do when you got to the platoon?
Duper.
Oh, so you were 79. That was
Yeah.
that was my first
Yeah.
job as well.
Yeah.
And when was the first time that you actually remember getting into any kind of a firefight or any
September 5th.
Okay, and December 5th, if I recall.
September 5th.
Oh, September 5th, okay. And what was the occasion? What were you guys doing?
We were we had heard that there was some activity, and I can't remember where it was, but it was out of the base.
I'm going to say, I'm just going to guess for you that it was probably towards the Cambodian border in a
Yes.
place called Fishhook or Parrot's Beak.
Angel's Wing.
Angel Wing,
Angel's
yep.
Wing,
So that
yeah.
was, yep, that's
But
what,
in that area, in that corridor.
exactly,
Yeah.
yep.
And so we went out there and we had, we sat and waited probably from 10 in the morning to about 2 in the afternoon, watching airstrikes, napalm,
okay.
and helicopter gunships
Yeah.
and things like that coming through. And they finally said, "Well, okay, it's ready to sweep now. You can go through. It's safe."
Yeah, right.
So we got up to about 100 yards maybe, and we start hearing the cack, 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 cack. And so we got down. I laid behind a berm about that big, that tall.
And
And,
glad to have it.
and so glad to have it, because the bullets were hitting it, and the dirt was hitting me on the head from that. So yeah, that was interesting.
And by the way, now it is getting serious.
Yes, yeah, it got real serious. So I was duping as much as I could. Who was ever next to me was showing me how to do it and where to aim and how to do it and things like that. And we lost Cartland.
Yeah,
Sergeant Cartland
Yep.
got killed in that day. And that really made it.
I was
real.
just going to ask
That
you. I
really
was just
made it
going to
real.
ask you when
Yeah.
you knew for sure that one of your guys got killed. What
Yeah.
did you feel?
Yeah, that made it real.
Terror.
Yeah. Well, I guess terror. I mean, it's all
Scared?
wrapped into
I mean,
to a
it-
whole
yeah.
big thing.
Of course, there's a lot of adrenaline going too.
A lot of adrenaline, and of course, we called our captain, who I don't know if
Baker?
I should say it or not, but he wasn't very good.
Baker,
I don't know.
blonde hair.
Blonde big guy,
Baker, Joel Baker.
Joel Baker.
Yep.
He called artillery in right on top of us.
Whee.
And his radio man. Well, let me back up a little bit. I think the thing that saved us, saved 90% of the platoon, was Poncho. And we were walking in to sweep the area, and he started shooting. He says, I shouldn't say it. He said, "Gooks,"
Oh yeah.
and started shooting, and everybody down.
Yep.
And then the captain started calling in artillery. And he says, "Don't do it." And he did it anyway. And then we got back a little ways after Cartland got killed, and we had a Chuhoy. The guy was
Pete.
wait. No. From the.
Oh, Chuhoy. I'm
from-
sorry.
from the-
Your kid Carson was still Pete though, right?
Yeah, Pete.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Pete, he Greek me. So he was raising white, and
Give up.
And so the captain says, "We got you, Hoy. We got to go get him." And Poncho said, "Don't do it. It's a trick, sir." And I think that's when Captain got hit. And so then they brought in gunships and things like that because it was getting serious again.
Yeah.
And then they brought in dust off for Cartland, and I remember that 21 guys got on that helicopter, hanging on the blades,
Oh my gosh.
hanging on everything that they could, the rungs, I should say, and they made it back to base camp, 6 feet off the ground.
Wow.
That I heard that later. I don't know
Wow.
exactly how that happened, but I give it to the pilots. They were fantastic.
Can you imagine trying to get all that weight off the ground? Now I forgot.
I can't imagine those guys coming in under fire like that.
Oh
Did
yeah.
he say they flew 6 feet off the ground?
6 feet off the ground.
Were
Yes.
you one of those guys?
No, I didn't even try.
I've
And I
never
for-
heard that.
And I
Yeah.
forgot to ask earlier. When did you get into Vietnam?
I think it was July of '69.
Okay. And when did you leave Vietnam?
July of '69.
You did the 12-monther.
Right.
Okay. Good.
I was offline for a while.
Yeah. Okay. And did you always carry the duper, or did you some?
No. From the duper, I went to the radio, of course. I was used to carrying that weight, so I
Yeah.
might as well take the radio on. And so then I was up towards the front every time we went out, which is
Sergeant Marquez still there?
I don't remember that name, but it is possible.
Puerto Rican guy?
Could be.
Kind of a professional Army type? Made guys keep their hair cut? And
You know, I don't know.
uniforms?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
It could be.
Who did you carry the radio for?
I can't remember.
Okay. But you remember carrying it because...
Lieutenant, was there a Sampson? No, I don't know.
How about Fell? Do you ever remember the name of... Okay.
No.
Did you get to take an R&R?
Yes.
Where did you go?
The first R&R I took was in country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Vung Tau or...
Vung Tau.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was nice. But it wasn't.
Beach? Nobody
Nice,
shooting
nice
at ya?
beach. Yeah, nice beach. Went swimming out with a guy that I had met there, and he got in a little bit of trouble. And I think he got a cramp or something like
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Started yelling, and I looked back at the beach, and I didn't realize how far out I was. The undertow had taken us out
Oh,
quite a
gosh.
ways, and he was waving his arms and calling help and
Struggling.
and I looked back at the beach and I saw lifeguard come running as fast as he could, and I just held up my arm for this guy to, and I can't remember his name. I should remember his name, for him to hold on to, and I remembered something from my past that you don't swim into the beach, you swim sideways.
Correct.
And
Absolutely.
get in from the waves.
Yep.
And so we did that. We got in, and then the lifeguard got out there. So
Wow.
we did some good job.
That could have been all she wrote.
It could have been gone. Yeah, I wouldn't even be here.
And then did you, you said you took one there. Did you go anyplace else on a second one?
Yes, in December, I took an R&R to Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
And
And so were you a married man when you went in the service?
yes,
Oh,
and my
okay.
wife met me in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah. That was kind
She
of...
didn't like me at first because I was loud and boisterous, and
But the Hawaii thing was nice. You know, the married,
Yes, it was.
married guys got to go
I
be
did
with
not
their
want to go
wives.
back. But
Ooh, that must have been a tough... Yep.
it was tough.
And let's see. So you were there for the whole 12-month tour.
Yeah, and December 10th, I remember that when I was on R&R, my platoon got hit. When I left, there was 31 or 32 in the platoon. I got back there with 7.
Yeah, I remember. I know that I wasn't there, but I know exactly
remember
the
that.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I felt guilty because
Of course.
I
yeah.
wasn't there.
Do you remember Doc Delagerino?
Yes, but I felt good because I wasn't there.
Oh no, it's
And
a
it was
very
re- it
mixed,
was
it's a mixed
tearing me up.
emotion.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know, we went and visited Doc Delagerino.
He's still in New York, right?
Yeah, but Florida.
Oh,
he's,
did you?
He's down there in Florida now.
Oh, what
and
a
if you
guy.
go on the website and go to the Wolfhounds and click his name, you'll see his interview.
Okay,
So it'll be very interesting for you to
that's good.
look at
yeah.
some of these things.
Yeah, he was my hero on more than one occasion.
Oh gosh, he
Yeah.
was tremendous.
He was in there.
If you could say anything to him, and you could say it online, would
Thank
Yeah.
Just thank you.
So he was a hero. That's cool.
Yeah.
He was. We enjoyed. Sorry, I should be quiet. But
No,
he
that's
was,
good.
He was a great interview. That was
Oh
good.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Yeah, he
Is a
really
guy.
was. And were you wounded?
No,
Okay.
I had shrapnel hit me a couple times, but
Okay.
everybody wanted to put me in for a Purple Heart, but I said, nah,
Yeah.
really?
And did you win any other awards or anything?
CIB.
Yep.
Is most proud
And
of
then
that.
all the Vietnam stuff.
All the
and-
Vietnam stuff. I got a Bronze Star. Yeah, so
So that's Bronze Star's pretty good.
I think it was just for service, though, wasn't it? I don't know.
I think it was for
Valor.
yes.
Okay, I'll take that.
You didn't know you were valorous? You didn't think of yourself as being valorous?
I'm not valoristic.
Oh, and when you got home, you were a 2-year draftee.
Yes,
You had 6 months to go.
right.
Where did you go?
For Lewis.
Oh, you went back. And what did you do there?
I worked in an office filling out, they were called PIR sheets.
Okay. Which is what you thought you should have been doing in Vietnam in the first
exactly
place.
right.
Okay, and you were married. Did you have any kids at that time?
No children and
Okay.
still no children.
And Did you stay in touch with anybody when you came home? Any of the guys?
No.
So that's mostly the story. Nobody.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it just like, and part of the problem is so many guys had nicknames,
yeah.
and so you're trying to think, well, what was his whole name and where was he from?
Right.
So that
Right.
caused a lot of problems.
Right. I had some information. I think had Dave Dunnick's address and that was one other guy. What was his name? No, can't remember.
You know what Dunnick ended up being, don't you?
Chiropractor.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Right.
I always try to get him to give us some free deals at the reunions,
no
but
doubt, yeah.
I haven't been able to talk him into it yet.
He's still a strong guy.
We're coming to the end.
Okay.
What would you say your definition of a hero is?
Just a everyday guy doing not everyday stuff, I guess. I mean,
Yeah,
just
Interesting. That's actually a pretty interesting
yeah,
point of view when you think about it.
yeah.
Because like when we were in Nam, all of us were normal guys, or
Yeah,
none
right.
of us were normal, but no, I mean,
Yeah.
all of us were everyday guys. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
And
true.
yet, sometimes when things happened, guys did things
Heroic things,
that
yes.
you would say, now was he crazy,
Yeah, right.
or was that intentional,
Yeah.
or did he just have a lot of guts?
It's
And
just-
you know what? I don't know that I've ever been able to answer
No.
some of those questions.
Right.
I really haven't. But people. I talk a lot at high schools.
Sure.
And I had this one girl one time raise her hand and she goes, were you a hero?
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere. And I
Yeah.
go, you know what? I wasn't, but I said I served with a lot of them. And so I
You
don't
probably
know.
were. You
I don't know that we
Yeah.
see ourselves,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Exactly.
But I know that I saw it in my guys,
Yeah.
and surviving Vietnam was heroic, to be honest
Well,
with you.
I think so. I think getting through it, but yeah, there were some that did I can't. What's that word? Fantastic things,
Exceptional,
exceptional.
yep. Extraordinary.
There you go. That's the word I was looking
Yep.
for.
Who were some of the guys that you feel like did that? Do you remember any?
Poncho.
That's Garcia.
Who was-
Garcia.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
That's Garcia. That was his
Oh.
nickname. Do you know he got bit by a cobra?
No.
Yeah, he was sleeping at Shamrock, I think it was, under his poncho liner, and he was on the ground, and a cobra crawled up underneath, to get
Yeah.
warm, and he rolled over on it and got bit.
I'll be darned.
And they had to medevac him out. Of course, cobra bites are
They're
not.
not good.
Yeah, and he was out for a couple of weeks, and then he had to come back.
Come back, of course. Yeah.
But he was extraordinary.
I think so. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
most of the guys think he
I
was
think
a good
so.
leader.
He
Yeah.
just had this instinct that it's okay to go here, but we should not go over that way.
Yeah. I remember a story.
And if you do, let's be careful.
I remember a story where he was walking, and he was kind of like outflank a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and he walked up, and there was a gook.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
No, I don't.
Yeah, and the guy was hiding in the grass, getting ready to
Yeah.
start open an
I'm sure.
ambush, and Garcia didn't shoot him, but he reached down and he grabbed the guy, I guess, by the neck and jerked him
Got
up,
him
and got his weapon and everything. But
That's heroic.
Any other guys you can remember that really stood out to you?
Well, Dave Dunnick was. I mean, he was in there all the time.
I agree.
He
Yeah,
didn't,
he was
He
in
didn't
my squad.
hesitate. Yeah.
What was
And-
his nickname?
No, I don't think he had one.
Really?
Dunnick.
Yeah.
Dunnick.
Everybody just called him Dunnick.
Except for Garcia, he called him Dwinick
Oh yeah. But
because
anyway,
it's DUI
the,
in an
the whole time he was with me, he was my flank, and he was a duper. He walked flank.
Yeah.
And at the time, I trusted him. I mean, at the time I could count on him. He was
Right.
one of those guys.
Right. Yeah.
When I came home and I started thinking about this, flank is not a
That's not a good. It's not.
no.
No, you
And
don't
yet
want that job.
he never complained.
Yeah.
He never said, "Hey, why don't you get somebody else?" He always. Now, one day we walked into a minefield, a booby trap minefield,
Yeah.
and we had Matias Herrera, the guy walking in front of me, stepped on one and blew his leg off. And then Ed Clennon was walking across the field. He was RTOing for Marquez. He stepped up 15 feet in the air, dead on arrival. A piece of that went and hit Lieutenant Ide through him. His radio operator was standing right behind him, went right through the radio and into the radio operator's back. So, you know where Dunnick's at?
Right next
He's
to
out. He's out here on flank. He's out in the jungle because it was that thick. And
Yeah.
I'm yelling at him, Dunnick, are you okay? And he goes, yeah. Are we being hit? In other words,
he didn't even know about it.
you don't know if it's RPGs or
Right.
mortars or whatever.
Right.
And I thought to myself, that had to have been a scary thing to be by yourself,
Right.
not knowing. And yet he never, God, he never complained. He was a hard worker. I mean, he was a hard worker. When we were
Yeah.
filling sandbags or whatever, he was always right in
Yeah,
there.
he's the kind that if you're going to do it, you do it right.
Yep. Last question.
Shoot.
What advice do you have, not only for today's young people, but for generations to come?
Just general advice, or
Yeah.
I don't know, do the best you can.
Think of yourself. Think of when you were
What I did.
when you came back, you had a career path that you chose to take.
Right.
Did it come to you easy? Was it handed to you? How did you?
Well, I went back into the grocery business for 30 years, and I got it. I kept with school. I finally got my degree in biology, and but I was at the time I was getting recognition in the grocery business, getting promotions, and
Yes.
right
You didn't
along,
work
so-
for Safeway, did you?
I worked for Safeway for about 2 weeks.
I worked for Safeway when I came home too.
Yeah, did
That's
you?
Right. Isn't there a lot of common things?
There is, yeah,
a lot
there
of
are.
commonalities.
There are. I worked on night crew for Safeway for a couple of weeks, and then I
Mm-hmm.
got a different job. So that worked in with my schooling better.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess, yeah, be true to yourself
Yeah.
for one thing, and
Marry a good woman.
well, yeah, that's
How many years have you been married?
51.
Oh,
51.
that's wonderful.
I
Correct.
think you're one of the only vets that's been married to his first wife.
Well,
I don't doubt it. It's,
no, that's
Is that a
true.
picture of her right there?
no,
again?
that's my sister-in-law. That's her sister.
Aye.
She passed away here at about 7 or 8 years
Oh
ago.
gosh.
Yeah.
I know you gotta go, and I know time.
Yes,
But
yes.
I wanted to ask you. Sometimes I butt my nose in. What really annoyed you about Vietnam? Did you have anything that just troubled or like got on your nerves? Like, man, I hated this. Like one guy talked about, they hated the pork, or the sea rat. You know, did you have anything you can think of that it just drove you nuts about being there?
Just being there, I guess.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing. I am the kind of person, it sounds like you are too, that you try to make the best situation out of whatever you're handed. And if you make lemonade, that kind of
Yeah,
a thing.
sure.
So I felt I was there, so I was going to take all the precautions I could to either stay there and do the job I needed to do, or whatever I had to do to stay safe.
When you went to Vietnam, did you feel like you were doing your patriotic duty?
I don't know. I felt that, when I got drafted, my wife and I talked about it. Her dad was military for all his life in the Air Force. And we talked about alternatives. We talked about going to Canada. I mean, I'm sure it's entered everybody's mind at some time or another.
Oh,
You were been a lot closer.
Oh,
to
yeah.
just go there. But I guess that we didn't do those things because we love this country.
yeah.
We love being where we are. We think that even though sometimes our country or the leaders of our country are doing things that we're not happy with, it's still the best country in the
Oh,
world.
gosh,
So,
yes.
so I guess then getting back to your original question, yes, I guess it was doing my patriotic duty.
Yeah. What was your impression when you came home? How did you get treated or how was your acceptance when you came home?
Just like everybody that was getting home at that time, it was tough. Like I told you earlier, I got spat on right at the when we got landed in Oakland, I think.
Were
it
you
was.
wearing your uniform?
I can't remember.
Because did they tell you not to wear your uniform when you got to the States? Did anyone tell you that?
I think I vaguely remember something like that.
Some of the guys.
And they were warning guys, don't go to the airport in your uniform.
Yeah, don't
Because
do it.
remember
You're
all
gonna
those
get- you're gonna
weird,
get it.
I can't even,
Protesters.
I can't even remember what they were, but man, they were working the service guys
Yeah.
over bad.
Yeah. And like the rest of us, I'm sure that I was called baby killer and
Mm-hmm.
why were you there? What do you what are you doing? You know, and that gave me some consternation, and I was kind of concerned that well, maybe I didn't do the right thing. You know, so I just got myself inward and
Decided
I'm
not
that
gonna tell anybody I'm
yeah,
a
because if
Vietnam
that's
vet.
right, because that's, and one day I was driving, and I think it was probably, I was coming home from work one time. It was probably in the late '90s, and listened to the radio, and one of the DJs came on, getting all choked up. And he welcomed us home.
Mm.
And from then on, I felt okay.
Boy, what a crucial
Yeah,
fortune, the radio.
yeah,
Wow.
that was big.
Wow.
Did you ever struggle with PTSD or any nightmares?
No,
or
I
anything?
don't. Maybe a nightmare here and there, but nothing consistent. And when I first got back, I was walking down the street with my wife, and I heard a backfire, and I hit the ground.
Oh, those were the worst.
And you get down as fast as you can. So, and that's just what we. Because I came right back to civilization, and that was tough. I had an offline job for about 2 months, maybe.
So you had a little detox there.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, did you just go back to Coochie, or did they put you with aviation, or what did you do?
They went right back to Coochie, and we went out on patrol, and
Oh, okay, I know, yeah,
and I said I couldn't do this anymore.
but you weren't out. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, well, maybe, I don't know. I don't think so. I think we're right there.
Yeah.
I didn't go to any fire base. We went just to yeah, and I said I don't think I can do this anymore.
Mhm.
And so
No, I came to the same place. Yep,
yeah,
I did.
and I got a offline job as a night charge of quarters for a major.
Oh, yeah.
And did that.
Have you had any physical or any medical issues related to Agent Orange?
I don't think so. I've had that physical, had the Agent Orange physical, when relatively early after I got back, and everything was fine. Then I get the newsletter, and
How's your health?
Excellent.
So you don't have anything wrong with you?
Well, other than what you see.
No. Bless your heart.
No, nothing.
And you know what?
No
I'm
help.
so thrilled to hear that. Because and the reason is I take so many pills I rattle when I walk.
Yeah, no, I don't have any health issues.
That's awesome. That's great.
So far.
And just real quickly, because I know you got to go.
I gotta go.
Are you in the landscape business?
No, I am the landscape chair of this village.
Oh.
And
So are you kind of like retired doing?
I'm retired doing volunteer. This is all volunteer.
Gotcha. Okay.
I worked for the grocery business for 30 more years after I got back from
okay.
Vietnam. Then I worked for the state for 10 years.
Oh.
So I just retired in November from the
Okay.
state. So
So because I heard landscaping,
Yes.
And I thought, well, maybe you're still,
Yeah,
running
right.
a landscape business or
Yeah,
something.
I thought of that several times. I love landscaping. My degree is in biology, so I was
Yep.
finally able to use that with the state.
Yep. Well, Dale,
but-
thank you so much.
Gotta wrap it up.
No, but I mean this sincerely.
Sure.
I've wanted to meet you in person since 2003.
Okay,
And that's a fact.
I'm glad.
And do you remember coming home one day and there was Wolfhound gear at your
Yeah, I
front
remember.
door?
Well, we had just missed you.
And I
Yeah,
and I
I've
thought
gotta-
someday I'm
Yeah.
not gonna give up. And,
No,
and
I agree.
sincerely, the guys want to see you.
Well, that's great. We're talking about it.
Okay, buddy.
Okay.
Thank you again.
Thank you.